Massive thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring this video. PCBWay are your one-stop solution for all of your DIY project needs. They offer all kinds of different PCB printing options, including multi-layered PCBs and flexible ones. As well as that, they are now offering CNC machining, 3D printing, sheet metal fabrication, and even injection molding. Check out PCBWay using the link in the description. Hey everyone, how's it going? Elliot here. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at a Game Boy Pocket. Look at the state of this thing. How adorable is this? So this is a Japanese Game Boy Pocket. It's a pink Game Boy. It's the Tamagotchi version, although I don't actually believe that there's anything on this Game Boy that is exclusively Tamagotchi designed. I think it could just be a sort of a bundle box set, but it is considered to be a unique variant of the Game Boy Pocket. So this is still a very desirable item by collectors, even though it's kind of just a standard pink Game Boy Pocket. But there's a pink game in here as well to go with it all. And obviously it's presented in this absolutely brilliant packaging. So I picked this up recently. I'll put the price up that I paid for it on the screen, but it doesn't quite work. I mean, it does, I believe it works. We have to check that, but there is an issue with it, and we're going to fix that in today's video. It is an issue that we fixed before, but we get this very cool opportunity to look at a really beautiful Japanese exclusive product. So there's some really nice designs on the back. I love with Tamagotchi that there's all these little random stickers, and I have a feeling that this Game Boy came with a sort of a little sticker pack, because I've repaired Game Boys on the channel before that had all of these little designs as stickers. So again, I'll try and find a picture to maybe confirm that, to see what else it came with, because this doesn't have any of the paraphernalia, the manuals and all that sort of stuff with it. We can't read any of this. There is mention of the Super Game Boy on the front here, because obviously at this point the Super Nintendo was well into its production, and the Super Game Boy was a really cool thing that was advertised, because you could actually play these certain games on the Super Game Boy in color, which is really cool. I think that's what that's advertising there, because obviously the Game Boy Pocket's black and white, and how are these games in color? So yeah, it's obviously mentioning here. I'll put up on the screen the translation of that as well, but I assume it's going to mention that it includes the game and the unit or something along those lines. But yeah, a really beautiful packaging, and you can actually see, I'm sure, that the condition of this is perfect. It's absolutely spot on. It's perfect. So let's see if the Game Boy is in good condition too. Unfortunately, there is a small sort of bend in this flap, but there always is, so you have to just deal with it. So let's open it up. There is the stuff, and there's nothing else in there, as I mentioned. But yeah, I love the design of this. Obviously, it's got that sort of Tamagotchi shape to it, and then there's a small sort of square, presumably where the screen would sort of be, and then usually you had the buttons along the bottom and stuff. But I love all these doodles. Like, look at this little dude. It looks like something made on Microsoft Paint. Okay, so inside we then have this extra sort of tray. You've got a little lid here, we can take that off, and then we have the unit, and then we have the game, and then presumably there would have been a couple of AAA batteries in here, but luckily they are not in it, and hopefully they're not going to be in here, because that would be a very big problem. So you can immediately see the issue with the screen there. It's completely and utterly burnt, but this Game Boy is just pristine. Look at the condition of that screen lens and all of the buttons. I don't actually think this has ever been used, or if it has been, it's been used a handful of times. You can always tell because there's very little in the way of scratches on the back of this this cartridge slot here. And if I grab this one, which is going to be the donor for the screen, you can see there's a bunch of wear on it. Now, granted, the silver one is actually painted and the pink is the actual plastic, but you can see what I mean there. There would be a bunch of scratches along this top piece, and there is not on here. Now, I used this Game Boy to mod a Game Boy for my friend Tommy. So this has a spare screen on it, because obviously we used a modern IPS screen for that mod. So hopefully this screen actually works, and we can just swap it over instead of having to actually repair this screen, and then we can have the proper original color on it and keep it all nice and authentic and original. But yeah, you can see the condition of it is just perfect. Look at the sticker as well. Like you can see with, I mean, this one's actually not in too bad condition, but there is a bunch of sort of scratches on the sticker, unlike this one, which is perfect. And sometimes you get different sort of copyrights for any sort of licenses on here, but because maybe there's no mention of Tamagotchi on here anywhere, it doesn't actually say that. But sometimes you get like Game Freak or something for a Pokemon exclusive variant. But right, let's take the moment of truth and see if there's a battery in here. No, that looks all good. Okay, let's try and see if it actually works first before we do anything else. Hopefully it will. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't, but here we go. There we go, yeah, it works perfectly, immediately. Oh, and the stiffness of that contrast wheel, that's probably not been turned many times at all. And the volume wheel is the same. That is just lovely. Okay, without any further ado, let's take this thing apart. Oh, we didn't actually take a look at the pink game. We'll do that at the end. Let's do that at the end. Okay, so we're going to need a tri-wing screwdriver. This is the iFixit Mako toolkit. This video is not sponsored by iFixit, although it is sponsored by PCBWay. So massive thank you to them. Okay, so we're going to remove all 6 of these tri-wing screws. I have done this on the channel a gazillion times, but it's still fun. It is still very fun. I mean, Game Boys are just the most fun thing to work on ever. Now, I'm not really a collector of anything specific. Like, I've got a whole bunch of different Game Boys and different versions of the Game Boy. But one thing I would say I collect more specifically is the Game Boy Pocket. And specifically in that, the Japanese versions. Because I just love the different versions of the Japanese Game Boys. I mean, there is so many different ones available. All of them are relatively cheap as well. Like the boxed variants that I get from Sendico, you know, you can pick them up for like 30, 40 pounds. All of the sort of the standard ones. Obviously, the slightly rarer ones do get a bit more expensive, but in the UK or the US, they're hundreds. So it's really nice to be able to pick them up for quite cheap. Obviously, though, I buy them all from Sendico, and the problem with that is if you're only buying 1 or 2 things, it's not going to make a lot of financial sense to be shipping a parcel from Japan. But for me, I buy so many. What is going on here? What is catching? Oh, there we go. But yeah, for me, I buy so many that obviously it does make it worth my while. There's a slight bit of oxidation on these screws, which is quite interesting. So hopefully this wasn't stored in a damp place. But yeah, I was having this conversation with my friend yesterday about Sendico, and it really does make so much sense for me. And I often just say something as simple as, if you want cheap Game Boys, buy them from Sendico. But if you bought just one Game Boy from Sendico and shipped it to your house, and Sendico, for those of you who don't know, is a proxy service for Yahoo Auctions. So Yahoo Auctions is basically like a Japanese exclusive eBay. And you can only buy the stuff if you live in Japan, because the sellers are only going to send the items to Japanese addresses. And Sendico is just a warehouse in Japan, which is also a website so that you can translate the Yahoo Auctions site. We're going to just undo this ribbon cable here at the top. And yeah, so if you're buying just one thing, it's not going to be worth it, because then you've got to ship that into the UK. And unless you're willing to wait 3 or 4 weeks for it to arrive, you're going to go with a slightly more expensive shipping option, but that could be £50, which is why you then have to buy a bunch of things so that the shipping is still kind of only around about the same price as just shipping one. And then it makes it sort of worth it. But how many people are going to spend lots and lots of money all at once for Game Boys who aren't making videos on them? Do you know what I mean? Hopefully you understand. But yeah, Sendico is undeniably brilliant. So here's the motherboard. By the way, this video is not sponsored by Sendico. They don't even know that I make any references to their websites in the videos, but I do get a small kickback on the affiliate link if you sign up using my link. Every single time you buy something, I get like 20 pence or something, but that does all add up and it is worth it. So yeah, that's mint. Oh my goodness gracious me. Look at the speaker. Like, there's literally not a single bit of dirt on that speaker. Just how brilliant is that? And then on the back as well, flipping it over, just absolutely pristine. That is lovely. That is really, really very lovely. Okay, and another thing we can reveal is the silicone membranes. I bet there's nothing on them as well. Yeah, absolutely immaculate. This truly is a very beautiful sight. This is pretty much exactly how it would have been when it was released. That is just amazing. Can you see as well that the sort of the finish on those button membranes is not remotely shiny? That's what we then have to fix if they're really shiny, because they become oxidized and then they don't make a good connection bridging those 2 points on the motherboard there, the contacts. Okay, to get this screen out, we're going to just give it a little twist. This screen is... Oh! Well, that's unfortunate. In fact, we can then sort of just pry it up from the bottom then, I suppose. But yeah, this screen is broken anyway, so it's not a huge deal, but we could probably fix that. Which we will. I will. I'll keep it in case. Right. Okay, so that's a little bit annoying that that's come out. Yes, quite frustrating about that, but nothing much we can do about it other than just stick it back down. But yeah, unfortunate. Okay, so let's now do the same to this one. Give it a little gentle twist. Don't go too harsh on it, because you can actually then give the screen sort of leaking pixels. So there we have it. And then we can set this screen down inside here. And then we can reassemble it. It's as simple as that. I've actually got a slight ongoing problem with a Sendico parcel. For those of you who are familiar, I used to live in Jersey. I moved this year, and what I did was I changed the address on Sendico so that all my parcels would start being shipped here, but I didn't change the postcode. So the parcel is now in Jersey, and there is a risk that they're going to have to send it all the way back to Japan, which would be truly terrible. So I'm trying to tell them, like, please don't do that. My friend will just pick it up for me, and he'll send it to me, because if this parcel gets lost, it'd be very bad. There is the rarest Game Boy Pocket variant known to mankind in that parcel. Well, that's not quite true, but it's literally one of the rarest, without a shadow of a doubt. And if that gets lost, that would not only be a very bad thing in terms of losing a ridiculously rare item from the world, but also on a personal, selfish level, I want that, and I don't want to lose it. So I'm really hoping that issue will resolve itself. But I'll keep you posted, because you'll see an unboxing of it on one of the channels, I'm sure. Hopefully you all watched my my video where I explained the rough differences between my main channel and my second channel. There was a lot of confusion about it, and yes, I did slightly sort of dramatize the video from the thumbnail and the title, but hey, it's the world we live in on this platform. It's got to be done, and those of you who are familiar know that and don't hate me, and those of you who don't hate me, but you can't please everyone, and I need to pay for more Game Boys. So, in goes the screw. Right, let's pop in some batteries. Where did I put those batteries from before? This is confusing. Where did they go? Did I put them back in here? I don't think so. I don't think I would have done that. That's too organised of me. Oh well. Right. Ah. Well, that's brilliant. It works perfectly well. Okay, what we're now going to try and do is stick this back down. But yeah, look at that. It's like nothing ever happened. Oh, come on. Okay, there we have it. Right. You can stick that down. Bingo. There we go. That'll do the trick. That won't go anywhere. And there we have a perfectly working pink Game Boy in very good condition. Right, let's try out this game then. So yeah, this is beautiful. Look at that. It's exactly the same color pink as the shell. And I've never actually seen this game in pink before. So I'm wondering if it's like exclusive to this Game Boy. I highly doubt that. I'm gonna have a sip of my tea. Very cool little intro there. Right, let's go for the second one. God knows what's actually going on here. Oh, we're creating a character. We're not going to be able to read any of this. Oh, but there we go. It looks like regular Tamagotchi now. I don't want the responsibility of a small Tamagotchi. Can't even look after myself. Okay, so there we have it. That is repairing this absolutely beautiful Game Boy. Very happy to have made that thing work. I'm going to have to try and periodically check on it. Every now and again, I turn all my Game Boys on. I just go through the phase of sitting down on my floor and turning them all on and putting a bit of power through the through all the capacitors and stuff. Not sure if that actually does anything to keep it working for longer, but I do it anyway. And I shall now do this to this one too. But you'll have to let me know if that actually does anything beneficial to the Game Boys. And maybe the next one I could live stream, so we could go through all of the Game Boys and turn them all on. Could be fun, could be boring. Let me know. That has been an Elliot Coll video. Chaotic, frantic, unplanned, and unprofessional. Which is the way that I describe myself. Thanks very much for watching. Bye!